This is my fence charger. It's a solar charger. And the way you test to see if the battery's good is you turn it here and see if it's green. And it is. And the way you make it work is you turn it, that's off. You turn it on this for wildlife. Hear that click? Every time it clicks, there's a shock going through. Shock, shock, shock. And you can turn it to livestock mode and not wildlife mode, and it clicks slow. Click. See? And once the animals get used to it, you can turn it off a lot. And they know where it is, but that's not a good habit to get into. Try to leave it on as much as you can. They hear that click and they know that it's on. And if they're close enough to hear it, they're going to stay away from it. They're not even going to test it. I keep the garden protected with just one strand of wire. You can keep an animal out really well with one strand. Keeping an animal in is another matter. An animal will want to get out out of curiosity, and curiosity and hunger can make them go through shock. But curiosity, just for the sake of curiosity, is not going to get them to come through something like that when they've been shocked before. They're just like us. They don't like to be shocked. So this really works. You see this beautiful garden. I'm surrounded by deer and things, and I don't have any problems when I have this. You can also spray cologne and eggs and stuff like that, but that's a lot of work to have to go out and spray your plants all the time with something that smells bad so that you can keep them away. And the fence, the whole total fence, wasn't even $400 for everything I needed to last forever. You might as well do it. It's so easy to move it around, and it's just so easy to put it up. All you do with an electric fence is you ground it here with this little T thing, and you can pull this little T thing right out of the ground and put it back in. Bring you a little hammer and hammer it in if your ground's hard. And if your ground is dry, put a little bit of water here. Pour some water on it so that it can get electrified in the ground. This is your ground, and it clamps just like that with a little old clothes hanger type thing, like a battery clamp, which is what it is. And it hooks up right there, and there's a positive one too, and it just hooks to the fence. When you're ready to get up and go, you just unhook these things and move it, and it sets right on top of the post. And you can just put the posts in delicately. You don't have to really hammer them in too good at all. They're not going to be pushed against or anything. The animal just touches this with its nose or whatever, it's out of there. And it's real easy to do. You just don't want any vegetation touching this wire. If you do, it's grounded out, it won't shock. And also, you don't want any plastic bags down here below it or anything like that, because the animal has to touch its feet to the ground and then its body to the wire, and then it sends a shock through. But if your feet are on plastic, you can touch it, you're not going to get shocked, and neither is the animal. And I've seen a lot of videos where animals are getting through the electric fence, but they've got their comments turned off, so you can't comment on the video and say, I see why the animal got through. You got a barrier of plastic down. And that's because people get lazy and they don't want to mow the vegetation under the wire. So they lay down things like plastic so they don't have to mow under the wire, and they don't understand the concept of grounding, and they basically just give a bridge for the animal to get through. And I've seen a lot of videos also where they just literally have grass growing and weeds growing right through the wires. And you'll find that a lot with the net wire electric fencing. People think they can just go get that net wire and lay it on top of grasses that are tall and everything. You've got to keep vegetation from touching your wire. It's not gonna work if it is. And that means maintenance. The only maintenance on an electric fence is to make sure that nothing touches the wire. Nothing. And you see my squash plants, they're getting really close to the wire here. So in about a week, I'm going to have to raise the wire a little bit, but it's real easy to raise and lower the wire. You get a whole bag of like 50 of these things for $5. And those little plastic things are insulators, and you can raise and lower them real easy. Yep. The electric fence is pretty neat. It's kind of a fun toy. Makes me feel like the Roadrunner and the Coyote. It's a new gimmick that we've had since Gallagher invented it to keep a horse from bumping his car back in New Zealand, I think. And it's been used ever since. And a lot of people have copied Gallagher and put out a lot of different brands. But I like Gallagher the best. They are the original, and they do work. And I've been very happy with it. I had a Parmac once, and it was a solar Parmac, and it didn't have any power, even though it said it was really powerful. It didn't seem to work at all. My goats didn't run through it, they just walked through it. And this one, they run through it, and they avoid it the best they can. But when they're pinned in, they'll get out. You really can't pin a goat in very easily. They're Houdinis. You can pin them out, you can fence them out, but you can't really fence them in. They can jump, and they love to play, and they like to figure out things. They're smart. They like to figure out how to get out. It's a puzzle to them. They love going walking, and they love getting out. So I've got a couple pet goats now, and I have to walk them every day just to keep them happy. They got 3 acres of their own land, but they don't care. They don't care. They want to go walking. I'll have to walk them later today.